Good morning and happy Wednesday to you, and welcome to the Resilience Talk Network Morning Kickstart. I'm Tamara K. Anderson.
And I'm Brad Neufeld.
And I'm Jay Walther.
And we're here to give you your morning positive quote, resilience tip, and fun fact of the day. Here to kick it off is Mr. Jay Walther.
Good morning. Now, this quote is from an unknown source, but it is kind of fun to me. It says, people who wonder if the glass is half empty or full miss the point. The glass is refillable.
Ooh. That's good. I've never heard that before.
Talk about a spin and a third option. I like third options sometimes.
Well, they say you can't pour from an empty cup, so you need to refill who you are or what you feel. And so, if your life is feeling half empty right now, why don't you just go out and refill it?
And often that comes through self-care,
Yeah.
And we're so much more likely to take care, at least I am, of other people than to refill my own glass. But what I've come to realize the older I get is as I refill my inner glass, then I am more able to then help others.
Yep.
Interesting. Oh, that's great, Jay. Thank you. And for our resilience tip for the day, this one is going to require some thought. So if you're driving, you can do this and drive at the same time. What I want to throw out there is the difference between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And though we're not going to get into some exhaustive detail on this either, what I want to do is make you aware of how these two work together. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind have two totally separate, distinct roles. Like the part of the brain that you're listening to me with right now, that's your conscious mind. Okay, that's what causes your awareness. There's been so many different things that it's been called the critical factor. There's been so many things it's been called over the years. But what its role is to take in information and decipher it, and then to make a decision. Okay. So like right now, I'm saying these things and you're thinking about it and you're deciding whether I'm full of it or whether I kind of sort of know what I'm talking about, or you want to go do some research on it later or something. That's okay. That's its role. But here's the challenge with this conscious mind is it's very limited in what it can do. It only sees what's in front of it. It only has the ability to focus on one thing at a time. And yes, some people call me on this and say, oh, no, I've seen studies it can focus on between 13 and 16 things at one time. Yes, but it goes back and forth between those things really quickly. You're only focused on one thing at a time. However, let's tune over to the subconscious mind. It is by far the most powerful part of your brain. As a matter of fact, while you're sitting here listening to what I'm saying, your subconscious mind is soaking in everything else. It's monitoring everything that's going on around you. It's monitoring the temperature in the room. It's monitoring noises, because like if you pause for a second, you can hear noises in the background that you probably weren't aware of. Why? Your subconscious is listening to all those things, and all of that's being dumped into here. Okay, so it just sucks all this stuff in. And so that's why you can go back later on and think, where did I leave my keys? And you'll get a picture in your mind. And of course, most people go, well, it can't possibly be there, so I'm going to go look everywhere else except for there. And then you go back and go, oh, why didn't I look to the first place? Because your subconscious mind knows where you set your keys. Okay. And so if you can look at your subconscious mind as this big sponge. Okay. And also the thing is it has all this information from the time you were born up there too. So this is the thing I want to challenge you with today. Use this powerful tool that you have here. Start asking it questions. Okay. Start asking it questions like, okay, what can I do that's best for me today to help me on my way, on my journey to getting what I want out of life? Ask it and watch what happens. All these things will start to come up. You go, ooh, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? But the biggest key is you got to follow through on those promptings that you get. Okay. And so there's so many answers to everything right there in the subconscious. But this is also another key with the subconscious that you need to be made aware of. The subconscious does not have the ability to make decisions. Okay. That's what your conscious mind is. Whatever you tell your subconscious mind, it does. So if you're telling yourself that I have a terrible memory, guess what? That part of your subconscious is going to go, I was told I have a terrible memory, so it's actually going to shut down. This has been proven over and over and over again. And I find it interesting that all these studies that have been out there over the years have just been, they've been disappeared. They've been gotten rid of. And I kind of wonder, okay, why don't people want us to understand how powerful this thing is we have between our two ears here? I'm not saying there's some conspiracy out there, but it's just awful odd because a lot of the research studies I read when I was doing all my learning and everything to get into the psychology field, there was some pretty powerful demonstrations, some pretty powerful studies done, like this one that I had read, and I wished I would have kept a copy of this. But what they did was they did this memory study with people who said that I have a terrible memory. And they brought all these people in, almost 1,000 people, and separated them into groups of 100. And when they first started, each one of these groups, they were telling them that I can't remember names, but they said, we want you to memorize all 100 people or the other 99 people in the room. We want you to memorize their names. And at first they were like, I can't do this and all that. But then they told them to go home for a month and repeat over and over and over again these two things. I have an awesome memory and I have excellent recall. And they said that over and over again for a month. Well, they also had hooked up these sensors to their brain and showed that the part of the brain where the memory is was kind of dark initially. But then when they came back 30 days later, guess what? It's showing activity in that part of the brain. And every one of those people, 100% of them were able to remember all of the other people's names by the time they got done. It was just an incredible study. But then 6 months later, they pulled all these people back in. Just they weren't expecting it. They pulled them all back in, and then they said, "All right, do you remember the people's names in here?" Guess what? 84% of the people still remembered 100% of the other people's names. It was just incredible. But all that changed was they had said this: I have an excellent memory and I have excellent recall. So they're telling their subconscious mind what to do. And I need to make you aware of this, and then we'll quit this for the day. But the subconscious mind, there's some resistance there. Anytime it resists change, because once you've made a decision and it's there, which you'll be glad of, otherwise you'd have to relearn how to drive every day. You're glad you have those driving skills locked into your subconscious. Okay. But there's some resistance there. And so it takes a minimum of 21 days. And that's been proven by scientific studies too. Minimum of 21 days of doing the new thing consistently before the pattern in the subconscious will change. So it's not like you can just do this for 3 days and things are miraculously going to happen. You've got to take the time and continuously do it and make a new awareness and just keep feeding that new awareness, and you'll watch. But do it over the next 30 days and see what happens. What have you got to lose?
Yeah. You mean there's no quick fixes?
Nope. I'm sorry. We're just line upon line, precept upon precept. That's what we were born to. That's how we were born to learn.
Oh my goodness. The quick fixes are only in the movies, Jay.
That's true. The sitcom syndrome. Yeah,
or in the sitcoms. Awesome. All right, guys. Today is National No Smoking Day, and it's held the second Wednesday of March, which happens to be today. Here's an interesting fact about how the National No Smoking Day started. So it originated in the Republic of Ireland in 1984 on Ash Wednesday, when the ruling clergy determined that cigarettes would be a good thing for people to give up for Lent. That's where this day originated. Isn't that interesting?
Yes. That's
so. Wow. I know, isn't that funny? It's funny, you look back in history, you go, oh, that's kind of cool. So it's not easy to give up smoking for people that have that challenge. And there are helplines out there. And I didn't know that there are national helplines for you if you or someone you love is struggling to snap those cigarettes in half. There's one that you can call. It's 800-QUIT-NOW.
800
so there you go.
Quit Now.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had stop smoking hotlines that you could call. So I've learned a lot.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so that's your fun fact for the day. And we're going to wrap it up really quick and let you get on with your day. But thanks for joining us for the morning Kickstart. If you want to listen to us, we hope you do 24 hours a day. Well, maybe not 24 hours a day, but when you can. You can find us on resiliencetalknetwork.com. You can also find us on our YouTube channel, Resilience Talk Network, and please subscribe. And we are so thankful you joined us today, and have a blessed day.